You ever have one of those mornings where you step outside, breathe deep, and for a split second, it's like the world actually belongs to you? Yeah, I used to get that feeling every single day until the universe, or maybe just some bored HOA board, decided to test my patience. Let me back up a sec. I'm standing out on the deck of this house I built with my own hands, looking out over 6 wild, beautiful acres of Colorado pines. Everything you see, mine. Every stone, every crooked fence post, every window I put in myself, sweating through weekends and winter storms. None of it came easy, but it's all mine. My name's Asher Kenwood, 37, architect, not exactly the social type. I didn't move out here for block parties or homemade muffins, you know what I mean? When I bought this place, Aspen Gate was just a rumor. Back then, it was river sounds and old-growth forest, not the sound of some neighbor's dog yapping through vinyl siding. No HOA, no rules, just trees, rocks, and a silence you could actually feel in your bones. Then one Monday, this envelope shows up, official, glossy, and about as welcome as a root canal. Aspen Gate Homeowners Association, right up top. My first thought, junk mail. Second thought, maybe I should have burned it. Inside, there's this list of demands. Prove I own the land. Pay $18,000 in back dues. Fix your landscaping. Threats of further action if I don't play ball. I actually laughed, but just to be sure, I pull up the county GIS maps. My property is way outside their lines, whole zip code. Away, not even close. So I toss the letter. Rookie mistake. 2 days later, I'm in my garage welding, my happy place, when I hear tires on gravel. Step outside, and there she is. You know the type. Blonde bob, loafers, clipboard welded to her hand. Her name might as well be Karen. Flanked by 2 security guards, who look like they'd get winded chasing a donut. She takes one look at me and goes, "You must be the tenant." "No, lady, I'm the owner." She frowns, tells me I need to provide the landlord's info. I keep my cool barely. I tell her, "I built this place. I'm not in your HOA." She laughs, cold and rehearsed. Aspen Gate just voted to expand. All properties in the area are now under our jurisdiction. I point out the woods. Your line stops 200 feet that way. She grins, all smug. That's debatable. Our new overlay includes your lot. You ever hear something so stupid you're not sure if you should argue or call a doctor? You can't just vote your way. Onto my land, I say. She shrugs, like she's already planning to redecorate. In Aspen Gate, we value order. No independent projects. I tell her, as calm as I can manage, to leave. She smirks but goes. I knew right then it wasn't over. That night, I put up a giant, private property, not part of Aspen Gate sign. Next morning, there's a fake eviction notice taped to my gate, complete with a pixelated county seal. They'd gone from threats to straight-up forgery. Now I'm pissed. That Tuesday, a sheriff's SUV pulls in, real deputies this time, body cams blinking. Report from the HOA, the older one says. Possible illegal occupancy. I hand over everything, deed, permits, tax docs, even printouts of the GIS maps. Just for fun, I show them footage of Karen, taping that bogus notice up and fixing her hair for the camera. The deputies almost laugh. No jurisdiction here, one says. But watch your back. Some HOA folks get creative. Oh, I'm watching. And you want a little twist? That night, I check my security cameras. There's Karen, creeping along my property line at 2 in the morning, flashlight in hand, looking for something to pin on me. Next day, I double the cameras and add more signs. Friday, she comes back, with 2 goons and a roll of blueprints. My outdoor mics pick up. In a month this'll be ours. Council's friendly. We'll push the boundary with a majority vote. They're not running an HOA. They're running a hostile takeover. So I call Veronica, my attorney. She's a land use shark, hates HOAs more than I do. I send her every scrap, letters, fake notices, video, audio, you name it. She tells me to let them keep digging, because now we're building a case. Meanwhile, my property turns into Fort Knox, hidden. Cameras, motion sensors, everything backed up off-site. Another envelope shows up, all anonymous. Red sticker, no return address. Submit HOA membership and $18,000 by next month or prepare for a full zoning review. Pure blackmail. I scan it, run a font match, send it to Veronica. That's criminal extortion, she says. Not even 48 hours later, Cameras catch Karen and two guys marking my fence at midnight, whispering about ambiguous lot lines. They're plotting to fake evidence for the overlay hearing. Now I go nuclear. Request every county zoning hearing, every HOA vote, every petition for expansion. Turns out Aspen Gate never even voted to expand. It's all smoke and mirrors. I upload everything online, video, documents, the works. It blows up overnight. Reporters call. That's when Marta, the neighbor with more wind chimes than sense, drops off a partial plate from a rental truck she saw the night my security lights were stolen. Someone trashes my koi pond, rips up the hedges, steals my solar lanterns. Sheriff takes it all. Veronica files claims, insurance, emergency orders, even brings in a forensic arborist. Repairs run 6 figures. Still, I'm not backing down. Then the twist. Doug, a former HOA board member, calls me. Says Karen's run this same scam in other states. Forced fees, phony rules, settlements, all swept under the rug. Veronica digs and finds enough for a pattern of fraud. Karen doubles down with new fake notices, typoed so bad they spell it Aspen Gate. Judge finally grants an injunction. Aspen Gate can't contact me at all. That's when Karen's cronies try breaking into my studio, hoping to plant evidence. Cameras catch everything. Sheriff calls it felony attempted fabrication. Now we're in court. Karen's late, her new lawyer sweating bullets. Veronica's stone cold, lays out every file, every video, even puts Doug on the stand. He testifies Karen targeted outsiders to pump up property values. The judge listens, then drops the hammer: criminal trespass, forgery, harassment, civil racketeering. Aspen Gate dissolved. Karen gets 3 years. Her cronies banned from any HOA forever. And I get more than $200,000 in damages and fees. But here's the kicker. Another ex-board member comes by, says he's ashamed, thought the expansion was about community value. I invite him for tea on one condition: no Karen. He laughs, and for the first time in months, I sit on my porch, coffee in hand, sun setting over the ridge, feeling like this place finally belongs to me. Not because some board says so, but because I earned it. So here's my question. What would you have done? Stand your ground or cave to the bullies and loafers and fake authority? Drop your story or your thoughts below, especially if you've ever tangled with an HOA or had your own neighbor from hell drama. And if you think justice is worth more than some rubber-stamped rulebook, share this story. Hit subscribe, and let's keep this conversation going. Because, honestly, sometimes standing up for what's right is the only way you actually get to keep what's yours that you'd think that would be the end of it, right? Judge bangs the gavel. HOA dissolved. Karen in an orange jumpsuit somewhere complaining about the quality of cafeteria coffee, and me finally getting some peace. But, you know how life works. Nothing ever wraps up in a neat little bow. About a week after the dust settles, I start noticing little things. A strange pickup lingering by the end of my driveway after midnight. Some of my trail cams going mysteriously offline. That gut feeling you get when you know someone's been on your land, but you can't quite prove it yet. At first, I figured I was just being jumpy after months of looking over my shoulder, but then the county assessor's office calls me. Says there's been a request to re-examine my property lines due to a community complaint. No details, no signature, but I can take a wild guess. And let me tell you, nothing gets your blood boiling like realizing the folks who lost fair and square are still trying to claw their way back through some sneaky backdoor move. So I start making calls. County clerk, sheriff's office, even the local news guy who'd run the HOA story last time. All the while, I double-check every survey marker on my land, haul out my old engineering gear, and walk the property line just like my dad used to, boots crunching over frost, marking every tree and stone with a fresh blaze of orange paint. If they're going to try something, I want everything documented 6 ways from Sunday. About this time, one of Karen's old cronies, Stan, the muscle from her security duo, actually knocks on my door. Yeah, that happened. He's standing there, hat in hand, says he's looking for work, tells me he never liked how she did things, and that everybody deserves a second chance. I almost laugh, almost. But then he tells me there's talk in town about starting a neighborhood improvement committee, basically a baby HOA with a new name, and, you guessed it, some of the same people circling back like vultures. Now here's where it gets almost funny. Remember Marta, wind chime queen? She shows up with a pie. Actual, honest-to-God apple pie. Wants to thank me for standing up to the bullies, and says a few neighbors want to do a big, old-fashioned cookout. She's talking bounce house, cornhole, the works. For a split second, I consider it, but then I remember why I moved out here in the first place. The peace, the wild, the right to do what I want on my land without somebody else's casserole recipe or bylaws hanging over my head. Anyway, with new shenanigans brewing, I get Veronica involved again. She looks over the re-examination and laughs. It's got more holes than Swiss cheese. Turns out, a few disgruntled folks tried to submit fake signatures from properties that don't even exist anymore. I gather it all up, send it to the county, and, just for good measure, I upload a video walking the boundaries, explaining every marker, every deed, every survey. The county shuts it down so fast you'd think they were allergic to drama, which, honestly, I wouldn't blame them for. But even then, there's this weird vibe that settles over the neighborhood. Folks I never met before. Wave from a distance, but don't come up the drive. I noticed the local Facebook group lighting up with rumors. Some folks saying I'm a hero, others calling me a troublemaker who's ruined the sense of community. And you know what? Maybe both are a little true. You can't live through something like this and not come out changed. I'm not naive enough to think the drama is gone for good, just like the seasons, something always circles back. But I also know I've got every inch of this land mapped, recorded, and legally mine. I've got neighbors now who wave because they want to, not because someone told them to. And for the first time in a long while, I think about sticking around for good, maybe even building that guest cabin I always wanted for my brother, if he ever gets tired of the city. So, let me ask you honestly, where do you draw the line? When does community turn into control? And is it worth the fight to hold your ground, even when it feels like everyone wants a piece of what you built? Drop your take in the comments, especially if you face down an HOA, a bully, or just some neighbor who forgot what live and let live really means. Share this story if you think more folks need to hear it, because standing up for what's right, even when it's messy, is the only way things ever really change. And hey, if you ever find yourself out this way, stop by for coffee. Just don't bring a clipboard.